Welcome to Two Mental Chicks. Today we're going to explore our craziness. Let's be honest. Don't you agree?
Yes, I agree.
All together now, in common, what we have is our craziness. So we're going to explore that a little bit because turns out the two of us have kind of gone crazy in the past, and we thought, hey, maybe you have gone crazy in the past too. So we thought we'd reach out and find out. Anybody out there gone crazy in the past? We're going to talk about it today. So Jay, what's your experience with mentalness?
Well, from the day I was born, I found myself in a very stressful, uncaring environment.
Oh, that sucks. And that would do it. I found myself in the same environment. So were they crazy? Is my question.
Yes, I believe the craziness will trickle down from generation to generation if left
right.
unchecked.
I think you may be onto something there. So when did you think you were crazy the first time?
Well, I'd say it started when I was about 11 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, that's when I was introduced to chemical substances that can alter your mind.
Really? At 11?
Yeah.
Wow. Like
Yeah.
what?
Well, wine.
Really?
Yeah.
Would they just leave it around the party at night and you'd get the empty glasses, or would they actually give you wine?
Oh, no, that happened at 4 years old.
Oh, really? The glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that
Yeah.
one. It's funny.
Yeah.
So when did you actually got drunk?
Yes.
Really?
4 years old.
Really?
Party hat for a unicorn horn. Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Woohoo. That sounds like great fun.
It was.
So was it fun for everybody else watching you get drunk at 4?
They didn't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How astute of them. That's how my parents were, too. Very astute. Wow. That's strange. I didn't have drugs in my system till I was in 5th grade. And when I did have drugs in my system, it was because my sister cornered me in a bathtub and made me smoke pot.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
didn't do anything at the time, but later it came in handy. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So when did you start drinking on your own? Like you actually said, hey, I'm going to drink.
Well, it didn't really happen till I was an adult because as a young person, when I drank, I always got sick.
Oh, really?
So that's why I went to marijuana and whatever drugs were on sale in the smoking area, you know,
Really?
as a
Yeah.
teenager.
Remember smoking areas?
Oh,
You could
yeah.
actually smoke at school. That was awesome. Remember
Yeah.
that? Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I did too.
That's what it has in common with mental hospitals, too. You can smoke in the smoking area.
Yes.
Sometimes, not always. Some
Yep.
mental hospitals are more accepting of smoking nowadays. I have noticed that.
Yeah, they will give you a break throughout the day.
The ones that don't just stick nicotine patches on you like you're going out of style.
That trick never works.
No, some of those people had on like 3 or 4 nicotine patches. It was crazy.
Yeah, whatever they need to tell their mind.
I know. So when did you end up in the hospital?
Oh, when I was drinking heavily as an adult.
Really? Like how old?
50.
Really?
Yeah.
So up till then, had you been drinking?
Not like that.
Really?
No.
Yeah. Depression?
Oh, yeah.
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 I was always real happy. Overly happy. So you went the other direction. Down.
Down.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
So was it depression drinking, or was it you had a party hat on drinking, woohoo, or what kind of drinking?
Depression turned to anger.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What were you angry about?
Oh, everything cumulative in my life that's brought me to this fine position
Yeah.
I'm in now.
Like what?
Well, it's just always having to put out fires and wearing big girl pants and, you know,
Life.
constant fight. And
Yeah. Fight or flight all the time.
all the time.
Well, I think if you're in that position all the time, you don't know what normal's like
No.
until they stop you and sit you down and shake you real hard and say, ah, you are not normal.
Yeah.
Which you think it's kind of normal, don't you?
I think it's normal to have emotions and to be angry and to go ahead and express that anger in a healthy way
Yeah.
instead of blocking it with alcohol.
Yeah, I agree. I'm mostly into drugs, but I used to drink quite a bit. And it was probably the same reason to block anger and stuff. I was real pissed off a lot. So that was interesting. So you ended up in the hospital because of alcohol or because you were crazy?
Well, the alcohol poisons your mind and your nervous system, and it changes your brain chemistry in a way that will facilitate irrational behavior, such as attempted suicides and, wanting to die and all that stuff, and anger where you wouldn't act on or say things that you normally wouldn't say or do
Right.
if you weren't under the influence of alcohol.
Right, which makes sense. And in the situation that we're all in, with everybody angry and people coming in and invading our country, it makes sense that we'd be scared and upset all the time.
Well, the use of alcohol in this country has risen quite considerably over the years since COVID.
Yeah, well, and understandably, you get locked in your house, you're alone, you got nothing else to do but drink.
Yeah.
You could play drinking games, like every time Biden screws up, you could have a drinking thing. Then when, they blame something on Trump, you could drink some more. Yeah, I could see where that would be a huge problem.
Oh, yeah. It is.
So, okay, I have a question for you. Did somebody diagnose you
Oh,
as something, like they had to put something on the insurance form, right, to get you paid for?
what is it? Depressive disorder with anxiety.
And that means you drink too much?
No.
Did they not want to, they don't want to address that part of it, you think?
Well, I think this country's kind of based on giving antidepressants to the majority of the population willy-nilly without really taking mental illness seriously enough to delegate those drugs to the people who actually need them. I think they're just being prescribed arbitrarily to everyone.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially when it comes to antidepressants. Because who's not depressed? Look around. Oh my God. We're all depressed. I'm depressed half the time.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
I get really happy. And why? I don't know. There's not really much to be happy about. That's probably how they know something's wrong with me. There's just not that much to be happy about, right?
Yeah. But if you look at the little things in life, the simple things,
Right?
then you've got a chance to focus on the things that are positive instead of constantly looking at the things that are negative that you can't control anyway.
Exactly. I agree. When I was diagnosed, they took me in, and I don't remember a lot of it. Do you remember all of when you went into a hospital for mental illness? Did you ever go in for mental illness?
No, alcoholism.
Really? So they never said, you're crazy. We just knew that as a fact.
Right.
A long time ago.
Right.
Okay. We always knew that about me, too. It just wasn't official. So when they got me in there, I'm bipolar. So I have 2 poles, turns out, not just one like the rest of you people. So were you scared when you went in to the hospital?
Yeah. First time. Yeah.
Okay, did you put you in or did somebody else put you in?
Somebody else put me in.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you want to?
I didn't know. I was so drunk at the time. You could have taken me to the state fair and I would have been, yeah.
Stick me in the dunk tank. Well, that's kind of weird. That's how I go too. Things are just kind of crazy. So when you went, did you participate in your care?
I did.
Did you?
Absolutely.
Did you go to the groups and everything? Did you do a lot of coloring?
Yes.
What is it about coloring?
I think it just eases your mind and puts you in a place that's not complicated to be.
That's probably true. I hadn't thought about that. That's a good reason for that. I like that. I should do more coloring around here. So, when you were diagnosed as this alcohol depressive, not alcohol, this depressive disorder, did that change how you looked at you?
Yeah, I think so. It gave me a picture of what to look at, and it educated me being in the hospital to see the negative effect alcohol has on me. And you ask yourself a question: do you want to continue on that path, or do you want to change and get away from that? And I prefer the change and get away from it.
Right. I can see that. That's what I saw too. A lot of people that were going through different things, but in a lot of ways they were similar, but
Yeah.
different,
But
but similar.
But notice how they lump this hospital with addictive problems with mental health problems is kind of, I don't know if it's contradictory, but it's...
So then it's counterintuitive the way they lump them together.
Well, I think due to the fact that they don't take actual mental illness seriously enough in this country to get the help people need after they've been in this hospital, whatever that might be. I knew upon my first release and second and third, when I tried to get outside help for a psychiatrist or a counselor, it was almost impossible.
Yeah.
And you never get a qualified person. You either get, not that nurse practitioners aren't qualified, I'm just saying, wouldn't it be nice if you could see like a psychiatrist when need to, and you really can't hardly find one, let alone see them.
I think that's the problem, is that you run into insurance issues after you get out. Even people, I have great insurance, and even with great insurance, it's damn near impossible to find a psychiatrist at all, much less a good one. And they tell you, oh, here's all these resources, but those resources are crap. Usually you get out and those people either aren't taking new patients, or they don't take your insurance or whatever. I found that to be interesting too, is because they really kept a lot of people with drugs in where I was too. They had posters about before and after meth use. And I thought that was interesting because a lot of the people in there were in there for meth use or for huffing chemicals, a lot of huffing. Or some people were just flat out nuts. There was a lady named Raven that would run up and down the halls naked and scream things, just laugh maniacally, just insane, naked up and down the halls. And that was normal to these people. That was normal. There was a guy there who was married to Jennifer Lopez and Jennifer Aniston and was God's dad. And he could prove it via DNA. It was just insane. And so I had to think, well, is this what I am? Am I like that? Am I delusional? And then I had to separate myself from that and realize, no, that's not me. I'm not delusional. I'm a little happy. I'm crazy, obviously, because I don't remember a lot of stuff that they would tell me, but I'm not that. So in a lot of ways, going to a mental hospital was about labeling me. And that's what you found too, huh?
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective, the label people, because when we use the word crazy, it kind of takes all of the bipolar, schizophrenics, depressive disorders, anxiety disorders, all in a small arena of just being crazy, and it just kind of puts us one label on certain specific mental illnesses that need to be cured, or not cured, but taken care of, through specific meds for that problem.
Right.
And none of that's really happening.
Not really. It was really funny in there because I finally had to ask. The big deal was booty juice. Did you ever hear that where you were? And we were in a lot of the same places, actually. But the guys would talk about booty juice, got to get that booty juice. And I started to realize my hips hurt real bad, and I had Band-Aids on both my hips. And they said, because you got that booty juice. And I had to say, what is booty juice? And basically, they said it's haloperidol, huge drugs. And they shoot you up with them when you get there to bring you all to a level, and they hiked my drugs up a lot. And so they put you in this place where you're on these large amounts of drugs, and then they let you out, and you don't have anywhere to go. They don't know if you're going to a psychiatrist or just home. They just know you're going somewhere, and it's not there. And I find that hugely irresponsible.
That's very irresponsible.
Yeah. That's my opinion. But I think so too. So I have a question for you. Did you have insurance?
Yes, at the time I did.
And so when you became diagnosed, did that change anything?
No.
No? That's interesting. I don't know if it changed anything with me. I think it changed how my family treated me.
Oh, well, my family's always treated me like I was the youngest embryo in a jar. That's it.
An embryo in it. What does that mean?
It means I am the youngest, and I never was taken out of my embryonic jar.
Oh, so you're too young and inexperienced to face life?
Right, I cannot do it myself.
Ah, so how'd you end up in a hospital?
My family member put me there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I'm a raging alcoholic, which I was at the time.
Right.
But that idea still lives on with them to this day.
Right.
Even though I've been sober. Doesn't matter.
It
Still
doesn't matter. That is a lot of what I have going on too. That anyone in my life that knows what's gone on with me has labeled me as that from this point forward. So from this point forward, you're bipolar. Is anything wrong? Are you feeling okay? Are you bipolar today? It's always on the back of their mind. Oh, is she crazy today? Is she bipolar? Which is it today? Are we happy? Are we sad? Which pole are we on, kind of thing? And I thought that was real interesting because I've noticed that about other people that are around me. They don't know how to act a lot of times.
Well, I think in your diagnosis with bipolar, that's another mental illness that's been kind of thrown under the bus as far as, well, if you're emotional, you're bipolar.
Right.
And that's insane. Pardon the pun.
Please, more puns.
It's, it's normal to laugh when you're happy or cry when you're sad or be angry when you're angry. These are all normal behaviors. And our society says if you have erratic emotions of any kind, you're immediately bipolar.
I know.
But that's not true about it. I mean, scientifically, it's a brain chemistry problem.
Right.
And I love the way people throw that bipolar around because you're emotional. When that is not it.
That's not it at all.
You're a normal person, your brain chemistry, for whatever reason, is miswired.
But don't you think that people compare you to themselves? So when I'm happy, it's usually happier than other people would be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but where's personality and all that? I mean, you might get a guy like, Bob Newhart, who's got a deadpan sense of humor that is very expressive, or you get a guy like Robin Williams, who was very expressive.
True.
So does that degree of personality dictate mental illness? I don't think so.
Well, in this society, I think maybe it does. If you think about it. Who is mentally ill? It's not Robert or Bob Newhart, is it? It's Robin Williams.
Right.
And even he recognized himself as mentally ill because he compared himself to everybody else, and everybody else was normal, whatever you call that, right?
Right.
So I find that interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Cut. So do you think if Robin Williams got help early on that he would have been as funny as he was?
Yeah, absolutely. I think someone's personality from birth and what they are is great. I don't think personality in Robin Williams' case was a negative thing. I think it was a positive thing. I think unofficially, I suppose he was on cocaine. I don't think he hid that too much back in his
No.
younger days.
Yeah.
But you know, I think mental illness, if he could have gotten the counseling or help he needed, I think he could have been alive today and still as funny as ever.
Yeah, probably. But he was probably depressed after he was diagnosed as having that Lewy body syndrome. I would imagine. I think I would be, definitely. I don't know about suicidal, but I've been pretty, I don't know. I've been on the other side of it, the manic side. So I haven't been to the depressive side. I think I have been in my past lives because I know I used to be an alcoholic a long time ago, and I just got to where I was trying to escape. That was my biggest thing. And I could never escape. And I finally got tired of drinking. It just made me sick after a while, so I quit drinking. But then I channel it in other directions. So do you find that you get mentally, well, maybe I should say emotionally, do you know what labile means?
Yeah.
Do you think that that's how you are emotionally when you get to where you want to be in a hospital or feel like you need to be in a hospital?
If I'm drinking, yeah.
Yeah.
But I understand why I enjoy drinking so much then, because as you do become sober and you are more cognitive of your world around you and noticing things in the world, you go, oh no, I don't want to know this stuff. Where's the nearest bottle of tequila I can jump
Yeah.
into? Because, you know, when you're sober, your eyes are open.
That's true.
And when you're drunk, they're closed.
So that makes you wonder, is it normal to be insane in this world that we're in?
I think a little insanity goes a long way on this planet.
I think it does.
And I think there's no such thing as normal or what the perception of normal is because it's so subjective,
That's true.
you know.
I would think normal is a whole lot different than normal is in the eyes of everybody around me. A whole lot different. Way funnier, for sure.
Yeah.
I got Robin, you know what I mean? But I think I'm on the manic side of it too. So I can understand the depressive side, not wanting to be part of that. But I think I go to where I just escape. I'll read a book or start just doing something artistic to escape. So I do different drugs. I like smoking pot. You know me. But that doesn't slow me down.
No.
Sometimes it makes me sleepy. That's about it.
Yeah. And I think humans are always going to look for some kind of calming thing, whether it be wine or alcohol or marijuana or something. And it's just,
Sure.
I don't know what it is about the human race. You don't see a squirrel stuffing a cigarette in its mouth, you know. It's humans.
Trying to kill themselves.
Right.
That's true. It's only us. So do you have family members that don't talk to you now?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Lots of them?
One of them.
One. Why do you think that is?
Because of all the people in my family that has been perpetual in mental illness that's never been addressed is one of my siblings that, yeah.
So do you find that she or they were quick to point out your mental illness?
Oh, yeah, because before you move the log out of your own eye, before you take the little sliver out of your brother's eye, that says it all right there.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't have anybody that won't talk to me, but I do have people that are afraid to talk to me. They don't know what to say to me because of mental illness, and they don't know if they can talk about it. I find that to be quite normal. In fact, I often don't talk to people about it, especially at work and things, because they don't understand it. They think there's a deficiency with you somewhere.
Yeah, and that's a funny concept. It's funny knowing you as long as I have, and I don't see you any differently than I did the day I first met you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, well, if I came to your house with a cast on my arm, you're going to ask me, how'd you break your arm?
Yeah.
Well, if you have bipolar, hey, you're bipolar. How's that going? Are you doing all right?
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, it should be talked about, I think.
And I agree. I think the more we talk about it, the more normal we become. And the more we realize that other people may just handle things the way we do. Mental illness may be more of a coping mechanism than anything in this world that we live in. It's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, the fear of the unknown and looking at truth and logic is something people have gotten away from.
Yeah.
Because it's all so emotional.
It's scary
Yeah.
if you really think about it. Wow. Okay. I think we're going to end it here. Jay, what a cool
right,
session.
Kay.
It's been really interesting talking to you about this. We're going to have to take off on our next session talking about more of this, because I think it's really interesting to see how you look at how other people see mental illness. So thank you for talking about that with me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We'll pick this up next time, you guys.